But I just want to give you a brief history of pay in HMRC to really set out why it's so important that we get over the threshold this time and we send a clear message to government. It was the first time we took a national ballot over these issues since the turnout requirement has been in place, was back in 2019. And that was as part of an aggregate ballot. And PCS as a whole didn't reach the 50% turnout at that point, but HMRC on its own did get over 50% of members voting. So along with Mark Sawatka, I met our then chief executive and told him that there was that level of anger amongst members in HMRC over the issue of pay. When Jim Harrer, our current chief executive, took over later that year, he went to a parliamentary committee and he told them that pay in HMRC was in crisis. And it was in crisis for 3 reasons. The first was because people hadn't had a meaningful pay rise for many years. The second was because the pay system was fundamentally unfair, because people weren't able to progress up the pay spans. And the third was that the national minimum wage was rising far higher than our staff salaries were, because we were facing the reality of pay stagnation as a result of government policy. And that meant that back in 2019, we were looking at being at a point where the national legal minimum wage was catching the bottom of our AO pay span. The pressure that built up then led to the pay and contract reform deal, which members voted on back in 2021. At the point that vote took place, we were in a very different economic situation. And what HMRC and the unions looked to do in that deal was to focus money on making HMRC pay fairer, and specifically on bringing up those minimum rates of pay, so we were paying well above the legal minimum. Members voted in that deal, and then a lot happened. We've had inflation running away at double figures, and that's eaten away at the benefits that pay deal brought in for HMRC staff. That has completely changed the playing field when it comes to our pay. And we know that on the 1st of April this year, when the national minimum wage increases, 19,000 staff in HMRC who benefited from the Packer deal, but to get that rise had to accept changes in terms and conditions, because that was the policy that the government was running, will once again find that their pay's been overtaken by the legal minimum. That is a disgrace, to quote the former minister who took the decision to not pass on the pension savings to us back in 2019. If every member who is looking at that kind of pay rise, or who thinks that it is disgraceful that government departments are paying more than a quarter of their staff at the legal minimum, takes part in this ballot, we will reach the threshold. If we don't, we send a message to the government that returning to more years of pay stagnation is something we're prepared to do. We need to take a stand alongside the rest of PCS and our brothers and sisters across the rest of the public services and say that we are struggling, and we are struggling as a result of long-term failure to invest in public services from the Conservative government. It's not just hitting our members, it's hitting the people we serve as well. We can't recruit and retain at the rates we're paying, because you could get a job in a supermarket that pays more than collecting tax debt or giving advice to people on how to fill out their tax return, all things that need numeracy and literacy. Public services aren't working. Only the government can fix them, and the government will only fix them if we make them. Stand with us, use your vote, get us across the threshold and tell them that enough is enough.